and welcome to this presentation on Silverscott Digital Holdings. The first disclaimer is the safe harbor provision. Obviously, as a public company, all forward-looking statements are based on reasonable assumptions, and the reader is cautioned not to place any undue reliance on any forward-looking statements. So, I'm sure you're all familiar with the safe harbor provision, but here's the timeline on Silverscott. I believe it came public in the 70s. It's been around since the 60s. It's a gold and silver mining company. I met the last CEO and the current CEO at a money show about 10 years ago. I introduced them to some investors. They got into operation, and in 2013, the two geologists just kind of parted ways, and the company has kind of been in the shell status since 2013 until October of last year, 2021. Basically, Wes Holland is the CEO, and like I said, he had been asking me to bring him a company to put into Silverscott for about 8 years. Didn't have the bandwidth to do that and go all in until the beginning of last year. One of the main projects I was working on had a successful run from a penny stock to about 75 cents a share with a $2.5 billion market cap. The company's name is InvestView. They got put on the Goldman Sachs Bitcoin Stocks to Own Index alongside JP Morgan, Tesla, PayPal, all of them. So that was impressive. Provided a lot of liquidity, and they were bringing in new board members and new management in order to get that company up listed to NASDAQ. So at that point, with all of that I've learned from a billionaire on the board, a hedge fund manager on the board, and all the things that we did right, like I introduced to Bitcoin mining a few years ago, all of those successful traits, I continue to learn and hone, and I've introduced that to the partners, which was Cognitive Crypto. So we did that in October of last year by bringing the education and the white glove service that investors do not get out there on Main Street, Wall Street, people that I talk to. How are you crushing crypto? Can you help me? So we put this together in order to do that. We took it a step further by learning from MicroStrategy and a lot of companies like InvestView that were putting, like Coinbase announced that 10% of their profits and putting it into digital assets. So we got together in August of last year. We launched in October, and one of the reasons why I'm here, besides creating some awareness, is meeting people that Shelley can introduce me to, that I can introduce myself to, where they can help with the 15C211. They can help with the track that we're going for uplisting onto the OTC QX and eventually onto NASDAQ. That is our goal. That's the reason why I'm here. All of our members, we have about 300 members since October. They pay $8,000 for the year and get white glove handheld service on what to buy, where to buy. But that started last year. The company is structured. Cognitive Crypto is the main company that's active. We basically have our Dr. Crypto Pro, like I said, which is a subscription-based model, 300 members and growing. We have a lot of conferences planned in the professional world. My main partner is a chiropractor, and we have chiropractors in Australia, Canada, Central America, the UK, and of course the US. And another partner who's an eye surgeon. I want to go to that profession next. These are folks that want and need help on learning what to buy, what to sell, where to sell it, and how do I secure my wallet, how do I do all these other things in crypto. Cosmic is an NFT. It's a partnership that we have. There's 5,000 of them that we're going to drop. It costs 5,000 Tezos. In that NFT will be a 1-year subscription to Dr. Crypto Pro. So the successful launch of the Cosmic project alone is designed to bring in 5,000 new members in 20 million, right? With a successful execution of what we planned. Underneath it, we raised $1 million. We actually were oversubscribed by our members who wanted to be part of the publicly traded parent. So we had to do an overallotment of 200,000 or 20%. The $1.2 million did not go to retirement and debt. It did not go to anybody's salaries. Nobody has salaries. It went to buying digital assets and putting it on the balance sheet. We put $400,000 into NDAO. In the first few months, it went to $1.3 million in value. It's back down about $500,000. We invested in an NFT minting platform where they have a lot of agreements with different collectibles, different athletes. Like I'll show you the presentation. And then Kraken, I got an opportunity to get a piece of the Kraken pre-IPO at a good valuation, so we put $250,000 to that. So that's where we are today. I'll just go down a little bit on each one of those. Take questions as soon as we're done. Cognitive Crypto runs Dr. Crypto Pro. Jeremy is our expert. So with Dr. Crypto Pro, you get an expert, you get a team, you get a tribe. Jeremy owns an island with his group that does a lot of really fabulous charity work right next to Richard Branson's island, Buck Island, down in the British Virgin Islands. He has FaceTime me while he's golfing and hanging out with Richard Branson. Richard Branson seeks his advice. Some of the charities that he's really big on caused me to be aligned with him a couple of years ago in a mastermind group that we ran. One of them is Operation Underground Railroad, which saves children from the sex slave trade. And the other one is area, which basically they go wherever, when the tornadoes happen in Kentucky, if there's flooding in Puerto Rico, any of these events, they go and they basically, serve. And they provide capital, they provide any help they can. But the reason why I say he's a beautiful soul is, like, he really believes he can help the top 1% become the top 2%. And he thinks crypto is going to be the main driver of that. He's been educating people on trading for, like I said, a good 13 years. And he has not only Richard Branson, but he has got people like Tony Robbins, a business manager, and a lot of professionals that have given testimonials that, was really the icing on the relationship that I wanted to really align with. What happened is he took our other partner, Dr. Roger Solori, and was our perfect avatar. I said, Roger, he's got a guy for everything. He's seeing patients all day. He's an entrepreneur. He's got 15 medical centers. I said, we're going to do this, and I'm going to show you how we're going to put this company and merge and go public. If you can trade crypto, right, and literally not have it affect your family or your business, we've got a winning model. And Roger turned 200,000 to 500,000 in 4 months and went from not knowing anything about crypto to really identifying good opportunities, and he got that from Jeremy. What we've done is basically scaled it into a subscription model. And again, we got out of the gate with about 300 members, and we're not right now looking for this opportunity to get to 5,000 members additional. These are the couple of things we own. NDAO is the world's first adaptive digital currency. What's wrong is the 15% staking rewards. They came back a little bit in this market, crypto market. They bumped it to 25% staking rewards. So in the Silver Scott wallet, plus a lot of our members bought it as well, there's going to be a lot more point in the next 3 years. It's a 3-year long-term hold. The guys behind it, one guy, Robert Fratzke, had the first internet financial services firm ever on the internet. When he was 29, he sold it to Digital, it's now called Quicken. Ken Lang is responsible for 25% of Google's revenue. They've got people behind NDAO that come, the NDAO collective comes from Goldman Sachs, University of Chicago, MIT, NYU, Carnegie Mellon, and Columbia University. That's the think tank experts. They looked at the flaws in crypto overall, and they found 37 of them, and they said, if we can fix those, the first mover never wins. Now, they're big Bitcoin adopters and believers, but at the end of the day, they've shown how when Ken Lang had Lycos, and Frasker was in a room at a conference with Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos and all these guys, they showed that some young kids stood up and asked that if they believed that at the time Yahoo and Lycos were number 1 and 2 in search. If they believed that a company that's not formed yet can make those companies obsolete, and that kid in the room was Larry Page from Google. So that's some of the reason why they got kind of NDAO. So our company went all in with $400,000 purchase. Krypton Media, they've got a proprietary NFT platform that we invested in. This is just the bonding curve on NDAO. It's based on demand, kind of like Bitcoin. They were one of the earliest. They're written on the same Tendermint core that Cosmos is written on. The symbol on that is Atom. And they're only going to be 30 million issued. according to a bonding curve, which there'll be nothing issued. So NDAP as high as 42, right? We own it under 10. The next time they will issue NDAP is when it breaks 42, the next issue price. So they put a lot of bells and whistles into it. A hedge fund had to get out of like redemptions that had 2 million worth, so that caused a lot of selling pressure going down. We're just still around 9 or 10 again, but we're still up in ours because we get more coins every day. So we're excited about that. If you know what you're seeing on the bonding curve is the first 10 million and now being issued is 163 billion. This doesn't have to work for SILS to be successful, but we believe it can be something special in the future. This claim. Okay. That's just a recording of Gary Bate and some other really early mentors in NFTs that talks about how the buying and collecting of things digital in the NFT world are going to be very understood over the next 20 years. A lot of people don't know about it now. We agree. There was a kid in Ukraine that was like 29 back in September. I think he threw his condo on an NFT. And there's some professionals that are out there saying that when he did that, that signified places like the commercial lending business, that these NFTs in real estate are going to upend the commercial lending business the way Uber upended the taxi business. So it makes sense for us to have an asset in that space that we can share with our ecosystem that has synergy with 300 and eventually 1,000 to 5,000 members that can buy and trade NFTs as well. Why not own support it on a piece of the platform? That's the reason behind it. That just gives you some ideas of some of the values of some of the NFTs. I don't really necessarily understand all why certain board apes are worth a couple million, but that's the space we're in. Dave Meyer is the partner, one of the partners in the Krypton Media. He used to run all operations for Tony Robbins. They have a deal with the San Diego Zoo. San Diego Zoo has digital images of all their animals. If you go into the gift shop, there's a lot of donations that go into the San Diego Zoo with 6 different zoos around the world that are their sister zoos or their affiliates. And the idea is they want to put all the animals into NFTs, the digital images. And if you buy that, right, all of those proceeds can go towards taking care of the animals and additional animals. That they believe can be 10 to 15 million a year revenue in the first year. Dave Meyer has all kinds of associations with NASCAR as well for NFTs. This gentleman is part of the Krypton project that we have a big investment in. He has been interviewed on Major League Baseball, Hot Stove. He started doing during the pandemic covers of baseball superstars. He'll go into other sports. But I think they started at 1,000 or already started going to 10,000. So he's going to put his collectibles on the platform, and he's going to do a whole lot more, as far as the series goes. One of the partners that we're going to do a launch party is Dale Murphy. They are going, I think he's going to put his 3 gold gloves, physical replicas, and I think he's got 3 or 4 gold gloves. Either way, those are going on as NFTs. He's very stoked about that. And this is just the other investment we made, Kraken Mobile, right? Pretty simple, I think. We have found, right, why I personally think, in 2014, a buddy of mine from DRW Holdings, okay, they are the largest maker of Bitcoin. They dominated and crushed everyone from Goldman Sachs, Merrill Lynch, everybody between high frequency trading. They had to move back to over to New York, which is how I met him, from Chicago, because they had to be closer to the server for high frequency trading. All of these gentlemen, he said, Hagen, if we fire someone, Goldman Sachs can't retire. And I've met a lot of these guys that they're all MIT, Harvard, University of Chicago, way above my pay grade. They turned me personally onto crypto early. I didn't listen to them in a baseball dugout, and I didn't buy Bitcoin at 5. But I did put 100 computers in my house after I saw Bitcoin come down from 1,000, and I mined Litecoin and traded for the whole year of 2014. And it was a tremendous success. So I have listened to that opportunities that I've had access to that I've shared with our members since then. And one thing I can tell you, in 2014, I had a Kraken wallet. They can assign you. We have members of Dr. Crypto Pro that are in Canada. Please, do I have to get a Coinbase account? Can I do it on Kraken? Same thing in Australia. They like Binance, but they like Kraken too. So I believe personally the Kraken can do the opposite of the Coinbase IPO. I think it's going to be very successful. It's the reason why we put company money into it. I figured I'd share that with you because it's worth it. This is Cosmic. This is the event NFTs. Most people know they can authenticate. Like Kevin O'Leary thinks it's going to be really big for watches, because he's a watch collector. People are doing it. Jeremy, or Dr. Crypto Pro, is doing it big time in rare whiskey. The next level, and there's going to be a lot of NFTs, is going to be everywhere, all over, right? The next is Event Horizon. Like Shelly, we can do a Planet MicroCap NFT, right? If they buy the NFT and they own it, they get access to all your events, that sort of thing. We have events that I won't go into the presentation, but the launch tokens are they're going to get a gift card for $25 to like garden restaurants, or they have Red Lobster and Olive Garden, a bunch of those. The other one they have is like Wendy's. If you're a college kid and you're a gamer, they have a bunch of that targeting for like 16 to 24-year-olds to drop those NFTs. The highest NFT is the Event Horizon token. That token you get 1 to 3%. They have an online exchange that's being launched. We can buy anything from a bicycle to a Lamborghini. You got to pay. It's all traded in crypto. There's no fiat currency. The Event Horizon token holders will get 1 to 3% of those profits shared in the first 3 years, giving value back. Those tokens cost 5,000 Tezos. Those are the ones that also come with Dr. Crypto Pro membership. So we believe we can net, out of 20 million, we could be putting millions into further investments that will go onto our balance sheet. Right? Nobody's taking a salary, and everybody involved that did the offering, and myself as a consultant, including the CEO and the board, we lock up all our stock for at least 2 years, and if we have to, we'll do it longer. That's something that I learned certainly over 20 years being on Wall Street, but certainly from the board of the last company that invested in. That's what attracted institutions like Goldman Sachs to put them on the index list. So we want to prepare the road the same way, but these NFTs can be really big partnership. Wes Holland, this is his quote. He had no idea. He's a radiologist based in Florida, and he's a little bit of an entrepreneur with a pharmaceutical company, but he didn't understand any of this. He saw what happened when investors went from like a $10 million market cap, which is where we are now at Silver Sky, to a $2.5 billion market cap last year. And he was able to make money in a couple of other opportunities that we introduced him to. And he really believes for not only the younger generation, but guys his age in the 60s that really don't know a lot about crypto, that if they can buy this stock and get exposure to NFTs, get exposure to an education on how to trade crypto on top of it, but get exposure to an NFT making platform, or graphic IPO, or other digital assets, he thinks that's awesome. So he's very, very stoked. I think you guys can read that quote. I'll move forward. This is what's possible. I've been on LinkedIn, Joseph Hagan, for a shameless plug. And on LinkedIn, I've made a lot of calls. I can go back and check. Bitcoin was breaking out from 12,000 a couple of years ago. I said, it's not stopping at 20 this time. It's going to 30. When it went to 30, I listened to all the billionaires come out and tell me what the mentors that I have in crypto, typically from DRW Holdings. Again, there's a really cool book, Flash Boys, that mentions them. But when they would tell me that cash is trash, coming from the 80s, 90s, Gordon Gecko, like reads cash is king, Jack Welch from GE. It's like, I want coin. So all of that started in March of last year when Jack Dorsey and all the billionaires started saying, the risk really was not being in Bitcoin. It's supposed to be in Bitcoin for those billionaires. So you look at Riot Blockchain. I was telling people on LinkedIn, and I said, by the way, if you miss Bitcoin, here's the price for Bitcoin. Riot, it was at $1. It went to 2 the next day. I said, still buy. It went to 30 in 2017 when Bitcoin first went to 20,000. Riot got to 30. It's not really if you miss Bitcoin this time, maybe you should buy. I have no affiliation with Riot Blockchain. I'm just making an observation. Went from $1 to 2, and there's people that are out there saying, can I send you money on LinkedIn? I said, no. I can tell you what we're doing. I can educate you on crypto, but it's just, Riot went to 80. And they're buying more mining machines. Marathon Acquisition, I think that is, MARA, another one. Right? Used to be a biotech. Right? There's another one, Long Island Iced Tea. Sold all their assets and became, I think, another mining company. I think they were privately. Marathon Acquisition Corp became Marathon Digital. So that's what I've seen consistently happen since I've been not only in the stock market for 20 years, but now in crypto for the last 10 years. We believe we can build $1 billion company. When all of the shares are said and done, that means $5 a share. When I gave the seed capital to invest you, and I convinced them to become a Bitcoin miner, I said I believe that it will go to $1 billion valuation. We went to $2.5 billion valuation. So again, there's no projections here. We're just going to come to this meeting, meet as many people. I already met somebody that can help us with the uplisting, the attorneys, all of the things that Shelley said. We can gain access to here. This is happening. So we're excited about that. I want to thank you again for listening to the presentation. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to share. You can email support@cognitive-crypto.com if you have any questions. And with that,
how do you market to get subscribers?
Okay, so great question. How do I market to get subscribers? Out of the gate, we call it Dr. Crypto Pro because Jeremy is like a surgeon. He will teach you. You will get a 40-minute video every Sunday. A lot of my guys, he'll say, all right, go to minute 15 if you want to know what to buy, whatever. Some of my guys are too busy. But a lot of people, from my brother-in-law, my buddy's a repo trader. He was out this morning on Slack talking about the Fed raising basis points and the compression. It can go either way, but we think it's built in. It can go up. Bitcoin went up 2,000 points today. So all of our members got another trade today, this morning early. So we communicate with them. We got an expert. We got a team. My partner, Matt, has traded stocks in the 90s for 10 years, Forex for 20 years, and crypto the last 2. He holds every member's hand, whether they're a seasoned veteran or whether they're brand new and they're nervous. And it's amazing, but we get them from my partner, Dr. Roger. He's a chiropractor. The guys in Australia run the World Chiropractic Conference. Their own ecosystems influence. So we do webinars. Jeremy holds webinars. Dr. Turley is a guy that's on Fox News all the time. He sends people to webinars. We do webinars, people come on, they join.
Is it an annual subscription?
It's an annual subscription. When Jeremy breaks out what he charges people, right? It comes to $14,800 a year, right? And I've seen Red some stock market thing, Red. I'm sure it's amazing. Like it's the worst $25,000 I ever invested, right? You will get hands-on communication. So you get a team, white glove service that people saying like, I don't do crypto because I don't know anything about it. Nobody's teaching it. So the team helps you. And then we have a Slack with a bunch of different channels. Guys that are using Binance in Australia, folks that are using Kraken up in Canada. If they have a question, we have a separate channel for it. So if any member, you're never a lone wolf for Road to Crypto. You ask a question on Slack, Jeremy will answer it in real time. If he does it, our team will. And a lot of times the members of Dr. Crypto Pro who have just gone through that will chime in and they'll help. So we're going to do, and it's really good synergy with the NFTs, where we'll do events on Jeremy's Island. We'll do events, just immersion in crypto and how to trade. Because a lot of people that didn't like crypto are finding that they love it. They want to trade more because it's 24/7, 365. And there's a lot of opportunities. Yeah, keep holding some of these long term, but more and more short term opportunities come up. And with the help of a team and a tribe, they're like turning volatility into a dividend. There's a lot of volatility in crypto, a lot of opportunities. Next question. Thank you. Anybody else? Thank you so much for coming. Shelley, thank you for everything and have a super day.